Welcome to the OMG Talk podcast with Paul Finkelstein. Great advice and talk with small business owners, workaholics, and whiz-bang entrepreneurs. Here's your host, Paul Finkelstein.
To see if I could work, and is it an internet thing or is it a what thing? I don't know.
But hopefully we will learn, and then we'll continue winning with our weekly meeting.
And NASA, if you could figure out what's wrong with me and my meetings. All right. So the last thing I know we talked about was an introduction from Paul Finkelstein and Ruth Fieldbeck. And next up, I'm going to introduce, because Ruth needs so much practice. She hasn't been to a Toastmaster meeting in 500 years. She looks great for the amount of vitamins she takes. And could she tell us about the 3 parts of a Toastmaster meeting and all about her helpers?
Thank you, President.
Thank you, President.
There are three parts to every Toastmasters meeting. The first part is the topic speeches, and the topic master will tell us more about that. The second part is the prepared speeches, and we'll learn more about that through our helpers for today. Our third part is the evaluation speeches. There will be a general evaluator and evaluations for each prepared speech. We have helpers to help us through the meeting, and Paul, as you mentioned, there's the timer, the awe counter, and the grammarian. Would you like to give us an overview of your helper roles for tonight?
Sure. And I was curious if I was going to hear you also through the computer, but I only hear you through the phone. That's interesting. Before I heard both. So maybe I made more technical problems.
Were you hearing feedback since you were hearing
through both?
No, and now I don't even hear you at all. I used to hear you through the computer. Maybe you could tap on your microphone and then tap it back on and see if that makes a difference.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, let's see if Mary could hear me. Could Mary hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh my God, Baruch Hashem.
You can?
I have Ruth on the phone, and I've been trying to troubleshoot. And I didn't know whether it was me or Ruth or God or everything. So,
Mary, can you hear me?
Yes, twice. So you got to mute something.
Well.
Oh. Okay. Mute this for now.
Yeah, you do that, and we'll hear you through my phone probably. Okay. Excellent job. So we were doing the introductions. So for the record, Mary, you could tell us a fun fact about where you're from, where you are, and how would you like to describe the place you live besides the children of the cornland?
I live in Minnesota. I live an hour south of the Twin Cities in a small little hick town. And I am in the land of 10,000 lakes. But I live in one of the only towns in Minnesota without a lake. But I live with a river that flows north.
You feel ripped off because you don't have a lake?
No. Minnesota's the land of 10,000 lakes. I live with a town that doesn't have one.
Right.
But the river in my town actually flows north, not south.
North. The river goes north, not south. Is that against gravity?
Correct.
So you're basically in the twilight zone.
You know it.
Maybe that explains some things. Okay. And Ruth, maybe we're
I wasn't born Born and raised here. I just moved here.
Maybe we're the ones now in the Twilight Zone because we're talking to somebody whose river runs north.
That's right. And our oceans run to the east.
So I guess that's a little recap of the introductions. And now Lucky's going to come crawling onto my lap because it's thundering over here. See? He just came onto my lap.
Hi, Lucky.
Because he's very scared of thunder.
Look at him, he's shaking.
Would Lucky like to speak tonight?
I think he won't be doing too much speaking of the thunder, but he's shaking. He does good on 4th of July, just not during thunder. But look, Lucky, we're underwater over there. See, you shouldn't be able to hear it. All right, so then Ruth was describing to us the 3 parts of a Toastmaster meeting. You told us that there's speakers, and we just lost one of our speakers. Could be the thunder in the north there. This is like the technical meeting from hell, which is we're helping each other learn leadership through some kind of weird Bermuda Triangle. I do like the picture of all the people clapping there.
Yeah, that's very encouraging.
But if anything, you're going to practice your speech tonight. I'm going to evaluate you, and we'll get something accomplished. So
Mary will come back.
Right, maybe she'll come back.
It may be 10 minutes, but she'll come back.
She should. I think she should come back sooner because she's actually.
Somebody's here. I think that might be Mary.
Oh, how do you see Mary?
We have the 3 pictures right here. Yes.
Oh.
Welcome back, Mary.
What?
All right. Welcome back to the Bermuda Triangle.
So, who is our topics master? Our topics
Can
master
you do me a
today?
favor? That box on my desk, could you go get it?
What box?
There's a box on my desk to the left of my. It's got the table topics in it. Okay, I just sent a messenger, Sarah, to go get my box of table topics. So, is there any way that we could do a table topic while we're waiting for table topics?
Yes, we could. Would you, while we're waiting, like to give us the timer guidelines?
That's a great idea. I moved to my kitchen. I thought.
And I'm having.
Yes? Hello?
Oh, I can hear you.
I think Mary just froze. See this?
Mary, can you hear us? I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay. This is going to be one of those meetings. All right. So,
It's a good thing none of us are new.
all right. So this is going to be interesting because up on my desk, I have colored paper for the timer, which my job as timer will to keep track of all time during the meeting. So what I'm going to do here, since you probably can't see it, I have a green Tic Tac, and I'll hold it up when you've reached. That's not going to work. But
That looked more yellow.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually hold up the Tic Tac box for the green card for 1 minute for the table topics. And then when it's 1.5 minutes, I'm going to hold up a Tic Tac box again. And then when it's 2 minutes, I'm going to hold up the Tic Tac box again. And then it'll be 30
There's
seconds.
no red on it.
Yes, but you're going to see the box 3 times.
Okay.
And every time I hold up the box, I'm going to take a Tic Tac. Okay, so I'm going to set the timer. And our first table topic is not meant to stump Ruth, since she's the second person here, is we're all going to have a topic that none of us have seen before, including myself, because I'm pulling from a deck of cards here. And the other, I can't see what they are. So our first table topic is, of course, we don't know who's going to do it. It could be me. It could be you.
That's true.
What was the greatest come from behind victory in sports history? What was you look excited about this topic. What was the greatest come from behind victory in sports history? If you're not a sports buff, this is a great opportunity to learn about segueing and pivoting. I'm going to start the timer. Ruth Fieldback.
Thank you, Topic Master. Sports is definitely part of my family. I heard a whole lot of cheering, usually from the downstairs in the den when I was upstairs in my bedroom or somewhere else around the house. So it's always very exciting to hear and to see your favorite team come back from behind. But other than loud noises in my house, I don't remember any stats. We have a couple of statisticians in the family, but not me. I could tell you about a comeback kid. My father had a heart attack when I was 12, just before my bat mitzvah when I was 13. He suffered about 15% loss in his heart. When he had lived a lot longer, my older brother and his wife, my sister-in-law, gave him a special award and called him a comeback kid. They were very proud of him. We're all very proud of him and thankful that he got to live for a lot longer. He was about 60 and a half when he passed, and it was a tough cookie. There were times when he might have thought he had the strength of an athlete. There was once when he was in his office and he was moving furniture around. His secretary walked in on him and asked him, "Ron, what are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I thought it would look better over here rather than back there." He was my family's comeback kid. Topics master.
Okay. Did you see the timing lights okay?
I saw them, yes. Got a little confused to where exactly we were at it, but I thought I'll just wrap it up. Finish the story, wrap it up.
Okay, so in addition to our next table topic coming up, might be you, it might be somebody else in the room. But the most important thing too that we're going to be paying attention for is the ah counter of our meeting. Keep track of ahs, ums, likes, so's, double clutches, double starts to help us be more effective with those filler words. And then the word grammarian is going to see how many times you use the word winning in your table topics and the use of your English language or some inspiring thoughts. We're using the word winning. Without that further ado, I'm going to read our next topic, which is, what's the best patriotic song? What is the best patriotic song? Ruth Fieldback.
Thank you, Topics Master. First patriotic song that comes to mind is God Bless America. Lee Greenwood gave a version of it, which we hear every month at this fabulous club called Club 47. And it's always fun to sing it. Always fun to feel like we're part of the winning team. And sometimes we are the winner whose photo is on a video that plays when that song plays. I like God Bless America because I love our country, love the United States, thankful for all that God's done for us through our country and is doing for us. And the hope is that we will all continue to win. All the songs which inspire us and inspire us to love our country, be the best we can be for our country, they're all winning songs. Topics master.
And that's only a minute, by the way, when I shook the bottle once. But I'll stop there. And now we'll call upon our next contestant. See, when you're table topics master, you could just keep calling on the other contestants, right?
That's right.
What makes a person exceptional? Would you like to tackle that, Paul Finkelstein? Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, especially Ruth Fieldbeck. What makes Ruth Fieldbeck so special? She wakes up every morning like she's already winning. Like the score is 1,000 to 1, she's ahead, and her competition's back there, and she keeps going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny. But what makes, I'm going to actually ask the table topic master to tell that topic one more time. What makes a person exceptional? What makes you exceptional is that when you get up to the podium or lectern or digital lectern and you're trying to collect your thoughts, here's a hidden technique for table topics is you could ask the table topic master to repeat the darn question again so you don't have to sit there trying to wonder what it was when you were trying to multitask 15 different things. But I think it's exceptional to come to a BizMeet Toastmasters meeting because we start on time and we end on time. And that's the 1 minute signal. At 1.5 minutes, you'll see the TikTok box appear again. And then at 2 minutes, you'll see the TikTok box here again. And then I'll have 30 seconds to wrap it up. But Table Topics is great because if you're going on interviews for jobs and they ask you interview questions, it's kind of good to time yourself in Table Topics, and whatever they say, you could address the audience and make the other person feel comfortable while you're coming up with a good answer. So you could say, John, thank you so much for being here today, for letting me come to your office today, or meeting on Zoom. That's really a great question. Sometimes it's great to say that's a great question, or anything to delay a little bit more, because at just the 2 minute mark, you'll see the TikTok box again, and then I'll have 30 seconds to wrap up this particular table topic about what makes someone exceptional. And I think what makes someone exceptional is this could be the best year that Ruth Fieldbeck has ever had in her entire career. She's going to make the most money ever this year in 2025 and all of 2026. You're going to take it off the charts. Okay, table topic master, I'll stop just before the time is done. And our next table topic for today is, what have you made by hand? Have you made anything by hand, Ruth Fieldbeck?
Table topics master. Have I made anything by hand? I must say, that's not my winning department. Making things by hand. I really respect those who can do arts and crafts, who can blow up a balloon, read a thermometer, the old style thermometer with the metal and the line through the middle. Comes to mind that when I was somewhere between 7 and 10, I used to like this game called, this artistic, not quite a game, just something to play with, called Light Bright. They had these pegs of different colors. Of course, pink at that time was my favorite color. Now it would be purple. All the colors are brilliant. It's like a holiday, neon, beautiful gift of light. I used to like to make the pictures. You would put a picture into the Light Bright holder, and then you could put whatever peg that you want. There were also little artistic pictures that you could take, a magic marker or crayons. It was like a coloring page, only all the more so. It's kind of like it's all ramped up. It's kind of like being on steroids. It had a hard frame instead of a soft backing, and you could come up with any colors that you wanted. So that's been my claim to fame with anything I've done with my hands. Thank you, Topics Master.
Okay, he made it to 2 TikTok boxes.
And 2 TikTok.
You're right. 2 TikTok boxes, so you're definitely winning.
Yeah.
You're winning. So, do you do any impersonations? Can you give us an impersonation, Ruth? And I'll do one too after.
Topics Master Paul, I don't do any impersonation. I enjoy impersonators, and I enjoy guessing who they're impersonating if it's not specifically said. I really like Mel Brooks, and there's another Mel, but I can't remember his name. His last name. They have a lot of talent. There's the Mel who did Bugs Bunny, and sometimes people really like to impersonate his portrayal of Bugs Bunny. A lot of people like to say, "What's up, Doc?"
See? Who says you don't do impersonations?
Daffy Duck.
Oh.
So these characters that we've seen on cartoons and movies. But as for me, I don't create any impersonations.
Did I just hear a Daffy Duck?
Did you just hear
a Daffy Duck?
More the Bugs Bunny.
Oh, you're not gonna do one for us?
I can't think of Daffy Duck.
Okay.
But Bugs Bunny, what's up, Doc?
Okay, I'll stop it.
So you're trying to impersonate.
Yeah, I'm gonna impersonate in a short table topic. You know the Jetson mobile in the Jetsons? It's like electronic before EVs, a flying car that didn't run on fuel. That. So I could do the Jetson mobile. Are you ready?
Oh.
Okay. That was my impersonation of the Jetson mobile. Now I'll make it go back. That was George Jetson going past our living room. Do I have another one I do?
Indian.
Is Sarah going to do one for us?
She wants me to do an Indian impersonation. Now, I'm not racist, but I like laughing with different cultures. So the first thing I could think of is, hello, everybody. I want to take you out for a free jelly donut. Come down to me, Atlantic Avenue at Military Trail. I'll buy you a free donut. Okay, that's my Indian one.
Chinese?
Yay.
All right, that's 1 minute and 20 seconds, so we can go to our next table topic before I get myself into trouble, or I already have. Why are you passionate, or what are you passionate enough to fight for? What are you passionate enough to fight for?
Ice cream.
Ruth Fieldbeck. She's waiting for her name.
Thank you, Paul. I am passionate enough, Table Topics Master and DTM. I am passionate about what's in the patriotic songs. I'm passionate about our country. I'm passionate about everybody having the opportunity to be the best they can be, to excel and to win. It's an important opportunity and one that we should all utilize. And even if we aren't utilizing that, we should be using the Bill of Rights to have the best life that we can possibly have. I'm also passionate about friends and family, dogs and cats, the ocean, and all the beautiful things here in the world and in life. I think passion is vital, and I'm going to go and enjoy my passion. Thank you, Topics Master.
I went over a minute. That was actually a minute and 30 seconds, to be fair about it. All right,
I felt full length.
Let's do one more topic here. Maybe we'll both do the same one. What superhuman power would you choose and why? Ruth Fieldbeck?
Thank you. Would you repeat the question? Which superhuman power what?
Would you use and why?
Which superhuman power will I use in life? I think my superhuman power is kindness and interacting with people. I think that's what makes us all strong. And I'm glad that I have, through Toastmasters, through other life experiences, learned to interact and to be kind and to receive the kindness of others. There have been times where somebody's been in need and I've been there, been able to help them, been able to comfort them. And as I'm going to speak about in my prepared speech tonight, so just a little coming attraction, I've had people who showed me their skill, their kindness. So I think that's a really important superhuman power. There's a lot of others. There's been some fun movies like The Incredibles, which display superhuman powers. I think another superhuman power is to not get caught as a deer in the headlights, but to be able to stay fluid and to keep going. And I think it's fun too to be able to enjoy different treats like Tic Tac, other treats, Oreo cookies.
You were waiting for the TikTok box. I was enjoying listening to your talk. I got to the 2-minute mark, and I finally showed you the red light. I think I'm failing in that. Okay. All right. I think this will conclude our table topics. Believe it or not, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 table topics.
Wow.
And
usually, the two of us, we knocked it out.
Usually a magic number, I would just tell us to do like 13, to just whip them right out and do 13 topics, because it's, if anything, we get the most practice, and whoever's not here gets 0 practice. Nothing. But let's go to the, if everybody could vote for your favorite table topic. Sarah says that it's rigged. All right. So put it into the chat, and we'll announce later the best table topic speakers for this evening. Now I'll turn over the meeting to our Toastmaster of the evening. There's actually 100 in our meeting here. There's 100 different people in the room with us. They're all clapping. You see them right in front of you on the screen, male and female, and they're all in the clapping pose. That's why I chose this picture. There's a couple of people sitting in some chairs, and we're here sitting in our chairs in our offices or living rooms. But our Toastmaster of the evening, Ruth Fieldbeck, is going to introduce. You could introduce yourself to go first, or you could introduce me and I'll go first. It's up to you. But you have
Thank
to
you,
do
Topics Master.
And-
Since I am the speaker who gave me an introduction to read, which is always very helpful, so that you're presented to the stage with the introduction that you want, and that helps the Toastmaster as well as helping the speaker, and it helps the audience by having a few words to hear and to think about what is the speaker going to say. So it's always beneficial to write an introduction and make sure that you interact with your Toastmaster for the meeting and also the evaluator. You can tell the evaluator what you want to be evaluated, and that way they can best assist you. For tonight, and Mr. Timer, would you tell us the timing parameters and how you're going to give us the guidelines, give us the...
not only that, but before I introduce the timer to come up, I'm going to be your evaluator tonight, and I'm going to tell you the purpose of your speech. And the purpose of your speech is to introduce yourself, to make an icebreaker about why and how you started your business, or something in those lines, for 4 to 6 minutes. And at 4 minutes, in my timer capacity, I'm going to shake and rattle and roll the tic-tac box at 4 minutes. It might interrupt your speech. And then at 5 minutes, I'm going to shake the tic-tac box again. And then at 6 minutes, I'm going to shake the tic-tac box again. So it's going to sound like a baby's rattle. And that's my timing parameter, and I'm sticking to it for Ruth Fieldbeck's speech tonight. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr.
Don't
Simon.
forget to use the word winning, because the word grammarian just whispered in my ear. Use the word winning in your speech.
Thank you. Appreciate those reminders. Our first speaker enjoys interactions with friends, acquaintances, and strangers. She especially enjoys the interactions when they're structured, including a Toastmasters, work, or meeting. Ruth Fieldbeck also uses get-togethers as a primary means of promoting her businesses, positively representing you and her doula service. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Ruth as she presents her speech titled Notable Get-Togethers. Ms. Toastmaster, Mr. DTM, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, I am going to tell you about a few very exciting sort of celebrity get-togethers with people who have certainly made an impact in our community and our country, very patriotic, and some of them even around the world. I currently use get-togethers as a networking means to tell people about my business and to ask them to tell others who might be clients for me. And I reciprocate and do the same for telling people in person and online about them, their business, and how they are winners and whatever they think I'm winning at. I appreciate their telling about me. That happens now with anybody, my friends, people who I meet, and we get to know each other better through the get-togethers. Before I was a business owner, and as I was starting my first couple of businesses, I met people both through civic participation, civic groups, and other exciting experiences. The first I'm going to tell you about, his name is John Strange. I am a birth mother, and when I was going to Cincinnati, Ohio to meet my birth son for the first time since his childhood, since his birth, he was about to turn 27. As you can imagine, I was nervous going to the airport, going to meet somebody who I hadn't seen for about 27 years. And I was looking for anybody to help me get through the airport and to have the best possible experience with the flight and then meeting my son. The flight was very early. It started about 5 a.m. or the takeoff time was about 5 a.m. And I was there at 9, waiting to be checked on and go through security. There was a man there who was just so kind-hearted, and he helped me through all the steps. I thought he worked for TSA, but he actually worked for one of the airlines, only I didn't know it. I told him about my trip, and he got me through the line for the check-in. I took his contact information just because we were talking, and he was very nice. He was fine with giving it to me. When I got to Cincinnati, I told my son about having met John Strange. And then when I came back, I contacted John, told him about the trip and how the get-together went. Then we ended up not talking for a couple of years. He was out doing his life. I was doing mine with my husband and staying in contact with my son and the rest of life. Well, it turned out that things were going well, and we both felt like we were winning. So when I contacted John again, he told me about a book that he was writing about his experiences as an extra in movies. And we decided that we were going to get together. My husband and John and I went out to Crazy Buffet in West Palm Beach. We had a really good time together. We've loosely stayed in contact. And the amazing thing is, I just reconnected with him on Alignable. So this demo club, Toastmasters Club, is connected with Alignable. And you just never know who you're going to meet. So I take every opportunity for get-togethers, stay in contact with a person as often as you want, and it can be very beneficial. The next person I met is Dick Morris, who was a political consultant. I was the speaker coordinator for my Republican club. And our president said, "Why don't you get Dick to speak?" So I stayed in contact with Dick over several months as we decided when he was going to speak and all the arrangements. The only thing Dick asked for was for somebody to pick him up and for him to be able to sell his new book, 50 Shades of Politics. I agreed that I would pick him up. My husband and I went and rented a car. We had a wonderful time with Dick. And at the end of the evening, when we took him home, he used a word, mensch, which means a top-notch person, kissed me on the cheek. And that was around 2018. I'm still dining out on that experience. I have seen Dick a few times since then. Dick was very nice and helped me to connect with a Palm Beach County commissioner, a former commissioner named Mary McCarty. I was involved with political activism and prison ministry. Dick helped me connect with Mary McCarty. She had some insight on prison ministry and helped me to see how I could further that cause. Those are 3 of the very notable celebrities I've met. And I'm sure that I'll meet others. Thank you, Mr. Timer.
Okay.
And now for our next speech, Paul Finkelstein, who is originally from New York and has also lived in Atlanta before moving to Delray Beach in South Florida, is going to tell us either about his business or his family or his dog, Lucky, who is the luckiest dog. So keep your ears open for the winning speech that Paul is going to give us. Help us welcome him.
I loved how you got the word winning in the introduction so you could get credit for using the word winning in our meeting. Fellow Toastmasters, and guests, do you see those 100 people in the suit and tie in the background and all the women? There's 100 people here today, and they're all being very well behaved. Today, I'm going to teach you a nugget of how Alignable has 4 tracking devices that's built into everybody's profile. But you don't have to subscribe to it. I'm going to tell you 4 things that you need to do, but it's helpful for those people that are ready for the premium version of Alignable. It shows you these numbers. And a good hedge fund manager will look at their balance numbers for their return on equity or return on income, their bottom line, to see their progress and if they're doing okay. If every Sunday you looked at your numbers and every day you looked at your numbers so that you know if you're on track and you're an effective networker. The first criteria is your profile. Now, a lot of people, they don't take their profiles seriously on Facebook. Maybe they want to be anonymous or something. Maybe they're just trying to be a social butterfly. And really, Facebook, to me, I call it a bar without the alcohol, unless you're home drinking a beer using Facebook. Or maybe you're at a bar using Facebook, because it's so portable, because we could use these devices everywhere we go. So I guess I can't say that Facebook is without the bar. But if you're sitting at home, you got your feet up, and you're just surfing along, swiping, and swiping. Well, that's kind of like what Alignable has with profiles. Only it's just small business owners. But it's really helpful to know in advance a nice headshot to make yourself stand out, to make yourself dynamic, and put up a nice dynamic headshot that people could recognize you. Maybe you want to have yourself in a suit and tie. Maybe you want to put yourself in a Jamaican shirt. Maybe you want to put yourself in a professional dress. Maybe you want to comb your hair extra special for that headshot. Maybe perhaps you want to groom and shave and make sure that I get out all of those nooks and crannies and I don't look like an old man. Maybe I just want to put your best face forward, to name the tagline I use for my photography business. Dress for Success is a great book that I recommend anybody get. It's an old book, so I'd recommend those older books to read 2 pages every day. And you'll get a nugget just from that book, Dress for Success. That's just the first tracking device out of the 4. Another tracking device is your events. So your profile is one, your events is the other, the second one. Events that are online like this, and events that are in person like the first Thursday of the month. You come hear Ruth Fieldbeck speak about what's a doula, a death doula, and how important that is, so that maybe you know someone that their family's far away and they don't want to die alone. Make them feel comfortable. You might want to employ someone like Ruth Fieldbeck. So coming to events and tracking those, a certain number, at least one a month. The third thing is your group activity. There's a group for various different interests and professions on Alignable. I think I have about 40 or 50 different groups sitting on my profile that I could look at, which I don't have time to look at all 50 of them. But what I can do is I have different groups for different parts of the country. So if somebody's looking for an Indiana networking group, I could refer someone right away to a free Indiana networking group. If perhaps you want to know about the Friday online happy hour with business people, I can give you the link and register to that one. That's just starting, but we have 50 people already registered and signed up in the last 2 weeks. We have 47 people registered for our event on September 4th in Delray Beach, of which Ruth again is the speaker. That's the third one, is group activity. The fourth one is extra special, called your conversations. If you could have a certain number of conversations every day and every week, that is not a sales pitch, but just having conversations so you could take relationships forward from a transaction, a long-term relationship. So we all could become resources for each other and refer one another so easily because we're comfortable with each other. And when you're comfortable, then you like the resources, our business associates, you know them, you start to trust them, and know, like, and trust is apparently the formula for business success in networking. So there's your profile, there's your events, there's your groups, and there's your conversations that you have. And Alignable has put these all into a formula that gives me a certain number of profile views on their algorithm. And so far I'm at, well, as of yesterday, I was about 1,050,000 or something like that. 1,050,000. Or no, actually, for the first time yesterday, I took a screenshot. I was at 1,200,000. 1,200,000. And then, of course, on Mondays, somehow there's a reset mechanism, and now I'm at 1,050,000. So it drops off because every week, apparently every 7 days, it wants to do a little reset, and it wants to see, am I really active on Alignable? Or am I just active this week? So they're figuring if I stop using it for 2 days and take a break because I have client meetings, I have other networking groups that are not on Alignable, then maybe my activity on Alignable shows a drop in activity. So some of my activity should be on Alignable and some of it should be off Alignable. But those four criteria, whether you're on Alignable or not, are great tracking devices that you could use to measure your ROI on your bottom line for networking. It's about the 7-minute mark, so I'm past just at my 30 seconds to wrap it up. Alignable is great. I wanted to give the speech on Alignable so that way I have on one of my nuggets on my profile that to come here to this meeting at Biz Meets Toastmasters to learn how you can master Alignable, but also master how to deliver a speech. Toastmaster? All right, I'll clap for myself because the other people I can't hear quite well.
Thank you, Paul. That was educational, informational, and sensational. Thank you for being an ambassador for Alignable. Those were our 2 speeches for tonight. Now we're moving into the third section for our meeting. General Evaluator.
Hi, everybody. It's me, your General Evaluator of the evening. I couldn't wait to actually talk as my role of General Evaluator. In addition to being timer, counter, and grammarian, where you hear all kinds of signals to make sure that we're learning to be a better speaker. But as General Evaluator, my first thing and the last several weeks, if you guys were here, I would have loved to have you comment, but Ruth is here, the most important person, because she's winning by coming here. And when you come every week, you're winning. And I'm here to ask for feedback on how we tackle this platform so we can get rid of all of the technical nuances so that people can come in, their microphone works, their speakers work, and it's all on an individual basis. And then all of a sudden you turn off your laptop, turn it on your laptop, and then it's back again, technical problems. I don't know if we're going to ever get rid of them, but I'm up for for ideas. Ruth, do you think, in a little round robin here, for the little mini topic in the general evaluation to evaluate the whole meeting overall? And our meeting is reliant on this electronic platform called the Skylarverse. I know the first time you were here was working great, and now I'm having some issues. So I don't know if I have to go to the feedback and say, is there some instabilities here, or is it all me? I've tried clearing my cookies. It's a technical term. Even sometimes technical goes way over my head. So do you have any thoughts or ideas, or do you think I should just give up and hold the meeting on Zoom and everybody has the least technical on there? Or even there's always technical problems, because I'm always hearing somebody say, you're on mute on Zoom, or some other thing. Do you think we should just ignore it or just mention it a little less than I'm doing now?
I'm not certain if you said this, because I'm hearing you, but not everything really crisp. And you might want to take it maybe to the person who drops in our meetings sometimes. Not sure if I should say his name, but you might want to speak with him. Let him know that you really are supportive of his platform, but it has to get resolved. I think if you were to move to Zoom, there would be a challenge of getting the word out. I think a lot of people are very familiar with Zoom, but we're becoming familiar with Skylarverse, and that's kind of nice. I hope things work out well for Skylarverse. I know Toastmasters is all about learning, so it gives the opportunity for us to learn a new platform. But I think most businesses, most networking organizations are not going to stay if they can't get it resolved. So I hope that they will and that we can.
Right. So thank you for having this little mini discussion to at least make mention of it. And now go through some of the reports. But I'm going to go through the reports after I call up our evaluator for Ruth Fieldbeck, and then also our evaluator for Paul Finkelstein. And the timer also for the evaluation for both Ruth and Paul, head evaluators for tonight, will be 2 minutes at the green first shake, and at 2.5 minutes you'll hear the second shake, and at 3 minutes you'll hear the next shake. Whoops, I almost lost the TikTok. And then that's how I get dinner. And then 30 seconds to wrap it up. So I'll set the timer, and then I will turn over the meeting to our first evaluator, evaluating Ruth Fieldbeck, Paul Finkelstein. Yay! Okay. Fellow Toastmasters, all 150 of you in the background, and then Ruth Fieldbeck and Paul Finkelstein, Distinguished Toastmaster, Advanced Toastmaster Ruth Fieldbeck, and Business Meets Toastmasters. Thank you guys, most welcome guests, for coming here today to hear Ruth Fieldbeck. Maybe this recording will work and you'll get to hear it later. On that note, Ruth Fieldbeck is a seasoned speaker. She's gone to so many Toastmaster meetings, and she's the one that's responsible for helping make Paul talk more. So much so that my vice president says, when are you going to stop talking? Apparently, we Toastmasters have a lot to say, and when we didn't have a lot to say, now we don't want to shut up. But that being said, we do learn that there are listening skills you can get from Toastmasters as well. So Ruth is a seasoned Toastmaster. She is very comfortable on electronic stage. I think she's even better in person. So I've seen her in person, but you should see Ruth Fieldbeck in person because she is even better. If you liked her now, You're going to like her even better in person on September 4. Wait till you see her there. We have 47 registrations, so you want to make sure that you get your registration in so we can save a seat for you. And you can do that at omgtalk.com and just click sign up, and I'll send you a link to register. I can't wait to hear what she's going to say there, but I do need to say one tip to help Ruth improve. I would suggest that you bring a rattle into your meetings. Okay, maybe not a rattle, because I know you're not a baby and you're not a mommy right now. But I think that online, because in person you're great, but online somehow we take this square we sit in, and I have an ocean behind me, and I have a turtle to my left, and I have ways to be engaging just with that background. Your background, at least you're evenly lit, but I would love to see a little bit of pizzazz so you stand out from all the other doulas. Because, I mean, I run into 50 or 60 doulas all over Boca Raton and Delray Beach. There's so much all right, there's not that much competition that I've ever seen for doulas. I think you're the only one I've ever met in Delray and Boca Raton. But in my field, there's 1,000 financial people. It's crazy. But I know that to make yourself stand out, I think you should use a prop. And online, shake it up all about. Get people's attention. Or maybe have a Red Bull before your speech. But you do have a very comfortable talk. You have a comfortable laugh. I love when you speak. You inspire me just as well. And I give the time to our next evaluator because I've exhausted. I didn't go over. I'm perfect as far as that goes. My wife is more perfecter. Can I say that? No, I can't say that. She's looking at me and she's saying, no, don't do that. I just did that. It's on the recording. So our next evaluator will be, and you could say all your heartfelt, the Oreo cookie method is an evaluation where you've heard of it, right? Where you actually start on a high note, say a great couple of things, 2 or 3 things like the outside of the crisp cookie. Those are the compliments. Those are the what's so great, because we want Paul to come back and lead the meeting because you don't want to be here by yourself running a meeting. And then say one tip to improve, not 50, because Paul he doesn't like criticism too. But at the same time, though, kidding aside, we really want to teach people a business coaching managerial side of evaluations, which is one nugget each meeting to improve, just one, and then end on a high note and say 2 or 3, 4 or 5, 6 things. I like extra recognition. I say 4 or 5, 6, 8, 10 things that Paul did really well after that, and I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes to do it. Ruth Fieldback, take it away.
Thank you, General Evaluator. For everybody here, our Toastmaster, me, and General Evaluator, our DTM in the room, our audience, including Lucky Dog. Definitely audiences, as they pop in, can help us to take it to the next level. Well, I think it was really amazing that you were just filled with information. Great. You didn't so much talk about your business, which you had described as the purpose for speeches, especially for a first-time guest or speaker who is attending the meeting. But since you've given so many of those, it's great that you introduced us to Alignable and told us how we can use that in a business capacity and interact with other people. I think it's a great tool, and it definitely helps us get to the networking meetings. It helps us to connect with people. So you certainly described it well and gave it the push that we want to use, because you've described it to a number of people over an extended period of time. I was one of them. But until somebody sees a need to use something, we can remember, especially if it's described well, which you always do. But then when it's the real time for us to use it, for we have a need, and you show us really well too. So it's not just talk, it's also showing the amount that you put into these meetings, the effort that you provide as an alignable ambassador, highly commendable, top notch. And it's no surprise, since the 3 letters behind your name, DTM, are also highly commendable. You're there, you put in the service, put in the time. You also make everything really creative. Like you're funny. You're funny, helps us to relax, and you share the different opportunities for the different roles, whether it's being a Toastmaster, Topics Master, the helper roles, which if it's a package, fine. If we have people taking one helper role at a time, that's fine. Definitely I'm going to remember what you talked about in your speech and your smoothness in speaking, calmness, you're putting it together, even when it's a quick call to give a speech. It's all highly commendable. It's part of making you the winning winner that you are. That's a skill that a number of Toastmasters have learned, how to put a speech together within 45 minutes or so, or less if it's really on the fly. So thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. And you can give the reports. Did everybody qualify?
Everybody qualified just in the nick of time. You probably would have been even shorter if I remembered to shake the TikTok box a little bit earlier than I did. But you have a way of talking that makes your listeners want to listen and pay attention, whether they can afford to listen to you or not, whether they want to pay to hear you or not. You have a comfortable voice, so whether you're a doula or a billionaire, it doesn't matter. Maybe both. So our reports for today, our timer has kept track of time during all meetings. Paul, would you like to say the results of the time? Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to do that. So the timing for today was right on target for all of the parts of the meeting, especially the evaluators and the speakers. All were around the 6.5 minute mark. Both of them knew to end on time, and they did not go over. And we wish more speakers would do that. All of our speakers used the word winning a lot. I also, especially, I'm going to call up the word grammarian to just let us know of some of the interesting choice of the English language or interesting phrases that we heard tonight. We've heard one of our guests, Ruth Fieldback, say numerous times the word top notch. I don't know if maybe it was a buzzword on TV or news or X or LinkedIn, but it's on her brain and it's like a go-to phrase. And now I'm going to start using top notch for the rest of the night and for the rest of the week. I kind of like it. You're top notch too. Thank you. And then after the word grammarian and the timer, we have the ah counter. I don't think either one of us said ah, like, so. Maybe it's because we've been to Toastmasters before and we nipped that in the bud. What does that mean? I keeps coming to my brain, nip it in the bud. I'm like, is that a phrase or it's just something I heard or something I made up? Have you heard that before? Nip it in the bud?
Top notch?
No.
Yeah.
Nip it in the bud, that one.
Oh, nip it in the bud? Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a popular phrase.
Oh, it is a phrase? Okay, so it's not something I just heard last night while I dreamt a dream or something? Okay. All right, so that's our reports. I know that we have about 15 minutes left, and then our spouses would love us for the remainder of the evening, unless you have any questions or concerns as we adjourn our meeting. But I'm just going to turn over the meeting back to our Toastmaster, who will turn over the meeting back to our club president to call up our Vice President of Education to go over the roles for next week.
Thank you. Turns out we had a tie for the topics master of the evening. So everybody won. Everybody benefited, which is really good.
I'm so glad
Kudos.
because I don't have to remember who it was.
Kudos to our guests, and thank you to Mary Stanley, who was here for as long as she could be, and hopefully, predictably, we'll see her next week, and hopefully we'll have lots of return attendees and new attendees.
I've been inviting people left and right, Toastmaster Ruth, and like 3, 4, 5, 6 people, they say, I'm coming. And I'm like, I think I see you be next to those 500 people that are behind us.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're just shy and they just sit there and maybe we just don't see them, but they're right behind all those people.
That's true. They could be observing. Well, I hope that you have a wonderful week, and we'll be back here next Monday.
Well, I'm going to now go into my role as President Pro Tem to
yes, thank you, President Pro Tem.
to introduce the Vice President of Education to go over the roles for next week. We'll just do the same roles for next week if you want.
I'd like to be Topics Master next week.
Topics Master. Okay, you got it.
Okay.
And then
And I will definitely be speaking.
and hopefully we have three total guests that have never been to Toastmasters, and we'll show them the ropes how a good Toastmaster meeting is run on time and ends on time, which we did exactly that tonight. So whether you have 2 or 40 people, you still learn tremendously. A lot of people don't realize that, but we do the roles like the back of our hand. I think it's because we've done those roles plenty of times, and it's your fault that I'm in Toastmasters because I first heard of Toastmasters. Did you know the story? I'm going to show you the real truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Somebody ripped out a page from the Toastmaster magazine in 1995, I want to say. And I was in Atlanta, Georgia. And they put it in an envelope and they mailed it to my house, my apartment, where I was in Atlanta, Georgia after graduating college. And I opened it up, and it was one of the pages from the Toastmaster magazine, and it was an article about something about public speaking. It probably had some great tips so that I'd never have to join a club ever. Not really. You could read about it, but you know that it's repetition and practice that makes us better speakers and attending a Toastmaster club. But they ripped the page out of the magazine. They didn't even put their name on the outside, and they mailed it to me. So somebody met me at a business function. They got my business card, and they mailed me one page. Now, how did most people learn about Toastmasters? Was it because they sent them to an online club? They said, go to it, and they didn't show up, just like I didn't show up. I didn't show up for 7 years. So if we don't have anybody here today, well, I didn't show up for 7 years. And then Ruth Fieldbeck met my wife at a 2J's Deli in Coral Springs. And she said in 2014, why don't you go to Toastmasters? You guys would enjoy it. And maybe my wife was really a great speaker already. Maybe she thought her husband could use it. Maybe she thought we'd enjoy canceling our cable and we'd like to brush up on our storytelling and it would really help our business. So we did that. We heeded Ruth Fieldbeck's advice and we went to a Toastmasters club that was near our home because that's what most people do. Because after work or before work or during lunch, you find the time that works the best for you. I won't even mention the cost now, but that's the story, and it's not just about sticking to it. It's the absolute truth story. Literally, someone ripped out a page from the Toastmaster magazine, ripped out a page. I just want to get that straight. And that was like so crude because it was just a piece of paper. But Ruth was in person, and she met my wife at a 2J's Deli, and she said, "You guys should go." And she didn't force us to go.
See, that's the power of kindness for whoever sent it to you.
Exactly. So I thank you, whoever did that. If you remembered sending something in the mail, I said my first for the meeting after the whole meeting is actually done. And with that, without further ado, my wife is shaking her head. You better end the meeting. So I'm going to take the gavel and put it down as the club president and adjourn our meeting officially, and we can go back to our wives, give our spouses, and Ed is your spouse, Sarah's, and let's have a wonderful evening, and then we'll see you till next time. So I'm going to stop the.
Paul and Sarah, the real couple that cares about your Medicare, says that Tony from trcvoiceovers.com is awesome. If you want the best voice on the planet for any Audible project, don't hesitate to reach out to him at Tony@trcvoiceovers.com.